This is a quick guide on clearing the Raiden Shogun Echo challenge without any constellations. We'll first start off with our build. For weapons, we'll use a refinement 5 to catch. Any other 5-star stat stick should be able to work here. For artifacts, we're going with a full set of Emblem of Severed Fates, focusing our substats on critical rate as well as energy recharge, followed by critical damage and attack percentage. We will get enough critical damage through the challenge, but we will need enough energy recharge to trigger our burst every 10 seconds. About 270 should do. As you can see, I have no constellations on Raiden, and here is a still of my stats before I move on. The challenge reminds me a lot of the Day at Echoes challenge. It's a puzzle to see how much damage we can squeeze out of Raiden Shogun before the time limit is up. To do that, we need the help of the entire party. Kujo-Sara's skill gives us an attack buff, but it's rather time consuming to use, needing to hit a charge shot after the skill. We can rely on the burst to give us the attack buff after the first rotation. Toma is fairly straightforward, just hit the skill and the burst when it's his turn in the rotation. Chevreuse also gives us a major attack buff, but you need to remember to hold the skill or else you won't get the attack bonus. In this challenge, we're trying to do as much damage as we can during the Thunder Surge buff. We'll divide our time as before Surge and during Surge. Before the Surge, we need to charge up Raiden's burst, as well as get as many buffs on Raiden as possible. This includes Sarah's skill, Chevrue's skill, and each time we use that character's elemental burst will increase Raiden Shogun's damage through her passive. And during the Surge, we want to activate Raiden Shogun's elemental burst and do as much damage as we can to the boss. You'll get the Thunder Surge buff 4 times during the fight. We'll split the fight into 4 separate rotations. For our first rotation, the focus is not to do damage. We simply want to build up Raiden Shogun's burst so that the attack from it can build up the other character's burst. It doesn't matter what order you do it as long as you collect the particles on Raiden. Just remember that Kujo-Sara does not generate particles on her skill, but on the charge shot after the skill. When the Thunder Surge buff is about to begin, activate your burst and do as much damage as you can to the boss. I recommend 4 neutral attacks followed by a dash cancel, but make sure that your second hit for your 4th neutral attack hits the boss before you cancel. Each elemental burst we use will now boost Raiden Shogun's elemental burst. As well, we can use Kujo-Sara's burst instead of her skill to buff Raiden Shogun's attack. Try to end this rotation a little early because you still need time to use Chevrue's skill as well as Toma's skill before the boss enters his invulnerability phase. Feel free to use all the bursts while the enemies are still invulnerable. We're only after the increase in attack to Raiden Shogun after all. We want to make sure that we are bursting as soon as the surge buff is up to get the most of the surge buff. Ideally, you kill the enhanced ruined sentinel at the first hit of your burst, and then you wail on the perpetual mechanical array with the normal attacks on your burst after it's become vulnerable. Our 4th rotation is very much like our second one. Use all your skills and all your bursts properly, and then have Raiden Shogun burst when the Thunder Surge buff becomes available. With any luck, you should be able to beat the perpetual mechanical array and earn your prize. But if you get close and fail to DPS the boss down fast enough, you can always reset and hope for a more favorable pattern of attacks. With any luck, you should be able to get the Plains of Euthymia Echoes or Raiden Shogun.